Happy Sunday, heathens. I'm Taylor, I'm the disc golf pastor, and I'm here to answer all the questions you have today. Like, Taylor, where are you? Taylor, how'd you do in your disc golf tournament this weekend? Taylor, why are you wearing this ridiculous hockey jersey? I'm here to answer all those questions and more today. Let's get right into it. All right, we're out here at Greenwood P&R. I'm assuming that stands for Parks and Recreation. It's at the Greenwood Civic Center. Before we get going in the round today, I do want to give you a quick recap of my first ever A-tier that I played in this past weekend, the Hub City Halloween Open. I had a goal going into it. I played in the MA1 division, which is the highest amateur division you can play in before you play with the pros. And my goal was to finish in the top half of the division. There were 39 players in my division, and so that was going to be a very tough ask, especially because I was one of the lower rated players in the division. My plan was to just survive the first round at Pipeline and then pick up strokes in round 2 at Holston and then see where you are for round 3. And I did exactly that. I almost completely self-destructed at Pipeline, but we made it out alive. I was tied for 23rd at the end of that round. Then we went into Holston. It was a beautiful day on Saturday, and I picked up strokes. I went from 23rd to 17th. In order to finish in the top half, I needed to finish 18, 19, or better, so 17's great. In the final round, the wind really picked up, and most of the division around where I was started self-destructing, including myself. But I was able to get enough strokes on the field to where I stayed where I was at 17th. So I did meet my goal. I finished 17th in the tournament. They ended up giving out vouchers for the top 18, so I guess I made cash at the event. I don't know. But that was my experience at the Hub City Halloween Open. I can't wait to play it again next year. Hole 1 is a par 3, 248-foot hole. It is right down the opening there, just past the power line. I think I'm gonna be throwing some forehands today. I don't know if I'm gonna try to get a good score. I think I'm just gonna try to get better at forehanding. So it's pretty windy too. We'll see how it goes. Okay, we'll try backhand. Oh yeah, we're here today. We're here. This is actually pretty cool. Looks like the course is set up for some sort of haunted trail. They have little speakers on these trees as well. Maybe it's like an intercom system. I'm kind of digging this. Hole 2, par 3, 225 feet. It's just right there in front of me. Should be another birdie. Yep, we're there. If you're a local here and you're wondering why I'm not playing the longer layout, it's because it's literally the day after I played an A-tier and my arm doesn't feel that great, but this is the only day I had free to record. So I'm not really throwing as hard as I can today. Throwing a lot of lower speed discs, a lot of forehands, just trying to stay healthy. But I am right underneath the basket for 2 under through 2. So I feel pretty good. Hole 3, par 3, 272 feet. It's another one that's right in front of me. And it seems like it's the same shot shape as hole 2. It's just about 50 feet further. I think I'm gonna try another forehand. I don't quite have the power on the forehand, so I'm gonna have to put a little flex on this. Too much flex. Let's go with the glory. Oh yeah, that's parked. Let's go. Fun fact, I played 54 holes at the Hub City Halloween Open. I birdied 1 of them. That's how hard those courses were that we played. So I hope you can understand why I'm ecstatic about just birdieing the first 3 holes on this course. I found a nice little bench to sit on at a Solitude tee, so I'm gonna go ahead and answer the burning question. Why is Taylor wearing this Ducks jersey? Well, this course is not that random to me. I have never played it, but this is a very special area and special property for me. This is at the Greenwood Civic Center. I think it's still called that. I'm not sure actually. But Greenwood, if you know me, this is where I grew up. And what I'm doing this month is I'm gonna be going to different courses in the area that mark different phases of my life. And I'm gonna tell you some of the biggest life lessons that I've learned along the way, starting right here at Greenwood Parks and Recreation Disc Golf Course. I think that's the name. It's a little long though, maybe we should shorten that. So when I was a kid, 6, 7, 8 years old, I became obsessed with this movie that this jersey came from, The Mighty Ducks. I watched it just about every day. I can still quote about half the movie, even in my 30s now. Sad story, my wife didn't see it growing up, and she didn't get to see it until she was in her late 20s when she was a first grade teacher. And so when she sees the kids on the team, she thinks they're brats and she's not really pulling for them. It's a sad story, but I still love that woman so much. But when I was a kid and I was obsessed with those movies, I wanted to be a hockey player when I grew up. This is the first thing I can ever remember saying, I want to be that when I grow up. And I played every single day in my driveway. I had the stick, I had the puck, I had rollerblades. I was really good at skating. I had a net, like a goal in my driveway, and I played every day. I remember even playing one time when I was sick, and my mom got so mad at me because she thought I was gonna make myself even more sick. But when I was 8 years old, my family moved from the city to the country. We owned a lot of land, had a really long driveway, but it was a gravel driveway. And so I couldn't skate anymore. So my dream of being a hockey player died early. But fortunately, another dream came up very quickly soon after. I changed from wanting to be a hockey player to being a football player. I played football every day outside, throwing the ball up in the air and catching it, playing catch with my dad, running routes out in the yard. And when it came time for me to try out for my middle school football team, I was pumped. I was ready. The dream starts now. There's only one little detail that I didn't think about when playing football every day. I sucked. And so I walk into tryouts and I find out very quickly, I'm not that good at this game. And a few days later, I find out that I didn't make the middle school football team at Northside Middle School, just about 5 minutes from here. And boy, I was devastated. I cried the whole way home. I ran to my room as soon as we got home, jumped under my covers, and I just bawled like a baby the rest of the night. I didn't even come out for dinner. I didn't want to go to school the next day. I was just miserable. I was broken, you know, my dream is dead. And I'm so thankful for what my parents did in that moment. They saw me just devastated and they said, we can't let him continue this way. So my brother was in marching band at the time at the high school, at Greenwood High School. And my parents said, well, Taylor's been in band for a little over a year now. He plays percussion. He can, he kind of knows what he's doing on the drums. Not really. But my parents told me, you're going to marching band practice with your brother tomorrow. They're gonna give you 2 mallets for a bass drum and a gong, and they're gonna point at you. When they point at you, you hit it. You got it? Easy. Okay. They just didn't want to see me in my bed all day, every day crying. So they were like, he's got to get out of bed and do something. And so I did it. I did marching band for that season. And then when 8th grade came around, it was time for football tryouts again. And I didn't show up because I was back in marching band in 8th grade. I loved it. I loved it so much that I stayed doing it. I just gave up on trying to be better at football. I'm going to stay in band. And I did band for 7th and 8th grade, and then all the way through high school. And I loved band, I loved music so much that I went to college for it. I went to North Greenville University. I'm gonna be doing a video there next week talking about my college years, but I went there and I majored in music. And then when I graduated college and got married to my wife, I actually stayed in the marching band world. And I taught marching bands in the area. won a lot of awards, taught many students that went on to do greater things than I could ever dream of doing. And I'm in the praise band at my church. Music is just such a huge part of my life. And honestly, when I look back on my life, music never would have been this important to me if I had made the middle school football team. That was a moment that shaped me almost more than anything else in my childhood. It is crazy to think about, though, how much that one moment in middle school shaped the rest of my life, all because I got rejected. If I don't get cut from the middle school football team, I know it's silly to think about, but really, when you look back on my life, it's true. If I don't get cut, I probably quit band after middle school. I don't do marching band in high school. I definitely don't go to college for music, and I probably don't go to that same college, which means I don't meet my wife, and my daughter never exists. I don't like that. Let's keep moving. But seriously, all of those things came about because of a moment of pain and rejection in my life. And I want you to know that if you have ever experienced rejection before, Jesus knows what that feels like. He was rejected by his family, by one of his closest friends, by his community. He knows what rejection feels like. But that rejection fueled him to keep going with his purpose and with his plan. And I want you to know that God has a plan for your life. God once told the nation of Israel, "For I know the plans I have for you." Plans for a future, for hope, and to prosper. All those things. He has a plan. And yes, in that plan, there's going to be pain. In that plan, there's going to be rejection, but it all works out for good for those that love God. That's what Romans 8 tells us. He has a plan for you. And the harsh reality of my childhood that I had to realize through rejection is that my plan for me did not match up with his plan for me. We're going to talk more about that in a couple of weeks. I just want you to know, if you have been rejected, maybe that rejection is really a redirection to what God has for you. So when you're rejected, when you're in those moments of pain, keep your eyes open. Be aware to what's going on around you, because that might be the moment that God's trying to show you something in your life. Be aware. All right, guys, that'll wrap it up today at Greenwood Parks and Recreation Disc Golf Course and Civic Center. The name just keeps getting longer. It was really cool coming back here. This field right here, I did a baseball camp on it when I was 10 years old. We did many church events on the other side of the complex. I played tennis a lot on those courts over there on the other side as well. I used to spend a lot of time here as a kid. There was a concert venue here as well. It's knocked down now, but I saw many concerts there. But this is really cool coming back home. I liked the course. A lot of different shots were required. Wooded shots, open shots, backhands, forehands. It really had a lot of stuff to offer. Even though I played the course blind, I think I still did pretty well, considering I am dead tired after playing disc golf like 6 days in a row. I threw a lot more forehands than I'm used to, but it's coming along. I'm getting more distance on it. I'm getting more snap. I like how it's looking. I'm not sure exactly what my final score was here. I'll have to post it. I'll put it right here on the screen. But that'll do it for another video. Next week, we're gonna be at North Greenville University, and I'm gonna be talking to you about what I learned during college at that university and how I met my wife. It's gonna be a great time. But until then, I love you, God loves you, and He has a plan for your life. I promise you. I promise you. Have a great week, you guys.